if you're in these meditations, what you're really doing is you're raising the energy. And this is why it's good to be grounded. And then you can amplify. And then technically, you know, from everything that I've learned and seen and practiced myself, you don't actually have to focus so much on what you're trying to manifest, because it has a tendency to take you out of the frequency that is necessary to manifest. Oftentimes, any real manifester is going to encode what they're manifesting into a symbol, especially if it's very complicated, because it's easier to focus just directly on the symbol. And then, as I mentioned in the previous conversation, that you would then have an altar that actually just consisted of these different symbols. And if somebody saw your altar, they would have no clue of what was going on. But you do. And every time you put something on your altar, you can always visualize it in your mind. So if you're bringing success to your company, you would take your company logo and put it onto something that could resonate. At the base layer, wood, definitely not plastic, higher layers, metal, etc. The higher the metal, the higher resonance, then the more vibration. And then you would actually be able to use that as a resonance field, like a Buddha statue or brass Buddha statue is a resonance field. And then you need to amplify it. The amplification is that's why you're breathing, because you're bringing up the coil or the kundalini, and then you're electric at that stage. So even your projections and also even touching things charges things. So generally there's a process of charging. It's the same way that logos are made by, you know, occult companies, but you charge the object. And again, they negatively charge because they kill things. And that's why I tell people, you know, avoid traditions where you're killing things, because you're negatively charging whatever you're doing. And that is necromancy, straight up. And that's all the jackal and all that. They practice necromancy. They're all into the dead and manipulating the dead and the ghouls and the zombie and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, okay, but I tried to give you filet mignon, yet you want to eat maggots. That's basically what it's like, right? So when you're working with life has abundance. So because what happens is that when you're being given money, quote unquote, for death, which is the agreement and the arrangement that many people are making when they're taking the life of something and sending up, especially chickens, and sending up this little weak spirit to answer this prayer to this sky god, right? Which is only on that first layer of the sky. What ends up happening is it's like a monkey's paw. So you reap what you sow. Every time you do something that you know is got negativity attached to it, expect it. It's the reason why that you generally have to watch your back, or something stupid happens or wild, or something gets broke, or somebody gets hurt. And it's because you could have a wake of negative reflux current just headed your way for consistently practicing in things that are abhorred. They don't make sense. That's why they call them abhorred, because they just don't make any common sense. You would have to actually be ignorant to do it. So then, especially when you can surround yourself with life. So in this life process, you're building energy, right? You don't need anything else's energy. You got more than enough. In fact, the situation is handling all the energy on the spiritual plane. So the reality is, as you can bring your energy up more, your field becomes electric. And then your consciousness already knows how to divert that energy into manifesting the first stages, like a baby, the first stages of the seed germ, and nurture the seed germ of what it takes to birth something. But also remember, anything new that you're bringing in your birthing, you should always keep it very private. This is why this thing is always about a privacy with your manifestations and things like that until they're well developed. This is very similar to that. You don't let everybody hold your newborn baby until it's well developed. So what happens is that if you bring out your ideas, your fresh newborn ideas to others, and they can kill that idea. Sometimes you think that people are really in your corner and you're telling them about, like, you know, something that you haven't even done yet or something that's new. And they could be in their mind, like, if he gets that, like, you know, sometimes you can even tell your girlfriend, like, I want this new car. And then she could be like, if he gets that, he's gonna be leaving me. So in her mind, she's like, I hope he don't get that car. But she smiled, oh, I hope you get it, girl. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff is like the basics of 101. So building energy, which is through breathing, whole body breathing, will take you into another dimension. You don't even need these DMTs and all that kind of stuff. Those are just icings on top, caveats. I'm about to go in the elevator and come back. But truly, the breathing is the key. And obviously, the flexibility, right? So the body, yoga is key. It's different things that make you more flexible, right? You don't have to do it all the time, but it is good to practice. Your insulation. This is, as the energy is running through you, it is your nervous system that it's actually running through. If you want to understand what the as below or physical aspect of what your energy system is your nervous system. So if your nervous system is like if your piping is thin, that's the easiest way to put it. If your piping is thin, then you can rupture one of your energetic lines. This causes blockage. This causes all types of issues. So learning how and basically going slow with yourself, because really what you're doing is you're taking a baby Kundalini, which everybody has one, and then you're raising that Kundalini. That's why I say raise it, but it's more like you're raising it. And what you teach it is what it learns. And once it gets to a certain size, like a child, there ain't going to be no more time for learning. It is now going to act out what you taught it. So that's why the inverted, when they're training their Kundalini goes down first. It doesn't go up. So it basically gets the experience of like totally like darkness, not having light, not being able to deal with all of the subconscious and all that. And it becomes very damaged and sometimes stuck down there. And so most of those people, they move from the lower chakras, and I find them to be very quote unquote negative, versus the ones who are moving up here. You got to cycle the whole thing, because they could get lodged in any of this. And when it get lodges in here, this is the person that is like, they just, you can't tell them anything. Like they're just all high and mighty and all this kind of stuff. But all of it is just like, it's not grounded, right? So that's how your energy system works. So insulating that system, getting that breath going on, realizing that meditation is a median. It's the middle zone. It's like the tip of the wave. That's why I say there's a slight surplus there. So it's the tip of the wave, but not falling off or falling back. So you know how on a wave, you can either fall over the wave or you can miss the wave, right? You need to be right on the tip. And that's what lucid dreaming, or right on that point where you tilted the board a little bit forward. That's what lucid dreaming is. That's also what meditation is technically when you're getting to that phase, and manifestation is when you're getting to that phase.